Okay guys, just wanted to do a video for Chrysler Town and Country 2013 model. Saw one video of a guy coming in from the top and he had to remove the fan shroud, coolant hoses, so he had to drain the coolant and all that. So that just kind of seemed like a lot of work. Saw another guy that came in from the bottom. And so that's what I did, had some success. Ran into a few snags, so I thought I'd point them out so you can save yourself some time. So take off the wheel, take off the shroud, inner shroud. That shroud has these plastic clips. I found what worked best is just get your hammer and get the claw behind the whole thing and just kind of pry it out. Okay, getting under here. There's your alternator right there. First thing you got to do is, undo the battery. Take all the leads off the battery. That's the first step. But once you do that, next step is take the belt off. And right here is your tensioner pulley. And to get that off, some tensioner pulleys on cars, you just put a wrench on that nut right there and it'll work. But it's not the case with this. You'll notice a little square there. And that's, you can put a 3/8 drive socket, but you need something with a little bit of leverage. So I got my 1/2" drive socket and connect it down to a 3/8 to fit in there, and that worked pretty good. So there's 3 bolts to take off. There's one right here, and there are 2. Here, let me try. All right, there's the other 2 bolts right up there. And then those are the 3 bolts, and then you got a wiring harness here. You see that red clip? That's got you get a screwdriver and pry that back. It's kind of a compression type thing. So pry that red thing back, and that harness slides out. And then right above that, there's a stud with wire on it. Go to the battery. Maybe I'll just show you on the other alternator since you can't see it. So it's where the wiring harness would go. And then right above it, there's a 1/2" nut to take off that wire lead. So that's it as far as the alternator. But to get to it, you've got to take the AC compressor out. So you don't need to undo the hoses. Take the compressor out. You got two bolts here, and then right above that you've got 2 studs with nuts on them. So initially I thought you just undo the bottom bolts, take those out, undo the nuts on top, and just slide it off those studs. But what happened was these hoses kept hitting this fan shroud, and so I couldn't clear those studs. So what I found was these studs actually, here's one of the studs. So they have a 5mm end. So take the studs out with the 5mm, and then you can push that compressor out of the way, and you barely have enough room to slide that alternator out once you get that pushed down out of the way. But other than that, that's about all it took, and so hopefully that helps.